Welcome to North Idaho Experience. In today's episode, Eric and I sit down with Brent Topie. He owns the Bunker Bar and Burger Bunker in Post Falls, Idaho. It is the most veteran and first responder friendly bar and burger place in North Idaho. So check him out when you're in town. Great conversation. He's got a background in corrections and killer guy doing a lot for the community. So enjoy.
That's who made it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Troy made it, and then he auctioned it off for the Red and Blue Foundation. So, yeah, it was cool as hell. But I imagine your bar, dude, you end up with patches and
we got
coins and all that stuff
all over the place. Which is cool because we keep getting them. You know, people keep bringing them in and meet some pretty cool people along the way. Yeah. And start talking to them. And like, I'll bring you some stuff back, you know, or I'll mail it to you. I'm like, cool.
It's a good hub for Post Falls right there on Spokane Street because, like, that's the spot, man. That's like downtown, Post Falls. So I love it. Yeah, like I was telling you earlier, I come there for burgers all the time. I live on the south side of the river.
Yeah,
like you do too.
Yep, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like 5 minutes from my house.
You see how he did that? I live on the south side of the river.
Yes.
No big deal.
Pick you up for that.
My mansion on the south side of the river.
I guess I get to do that too. I don't know about the mansion though.
Yeah. No, that because your guys' man, you guys are pretty popular. You ever think about expanding?
We have been thinking about it. I have. I get asked all the time to take the bar and the food truck.
Yeah.
Different cities and stuff. A lot of Spokane, but I'm not going to Spokane.
No, why not? Well, Spokane's great, man.
Yeah. There's a lot of money over there, but it's not about that for me. It's laws over there are just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, for the food world and alcohol world, just nuts.
Well, and now let's say you get over there and you're successful and you become a millionaire. Now they're going to tax the living shit out of you even more. Let's go ahead and hammer down on that.
Not very appealing, to be honest.
Sounds fun.
Yes. No, thank you. I grew up over in Spokane. I can talk as much trash as I want to. And honestly, any of the money in Spokane, they like to come over here and recreate.
Yeah.
They don't like stepping on needles and human feces.
Right.
You know what I mean? They don't like it either.
Shocker. Dude, I could see Coeur d'Alene with a Bunker Bar location. That'd be pretty rad.
We're actually looking at a couple different options right now. Another bar's talking about wanting us to come in with our food truck, but not sure if we're going to do that one or not yet. And we're actually working with the VFW right down the street on 4th Street.
Yeah.
Working with them and helping them out because they got the mix out of there, thank goodness.
Cool.
And they're redoing the whole bar, and so I'm helping them to redesign that.
You said they got the mix out of there?
Yeah, the mix bar.
Or is that like an Irish slang?
No, I'm just kidding.
The bar down below.
Dave said you guys used to get a lot of calls there. Mix that bar below the VFW.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the mix.
Oh, for sure.
MIK mix. Yeah.
Yes.
So I know it was there for a long time. You know, they didn't have a lot of success there, but now they're out of there, and VFW's taking it back over, I guess.
That got wild like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We brought you customers at Kootenai County out of mix. You were there. You were Kootenai County Corrections. You said from like 19 to 22.
Yeah,
right around there.
Yeah.
So you were there like time. Sorry, the pandemic.
Pandemic.
What am I allowed to say? YouTube. All right.
Apparently that's okay, but not using the actual name of it. Yeah.
Well, I've told that story before when we were on the CAT team. We were like known as problem solvers. So when Spokane shut everything down, all their gangbangers came over here.
Yep.
And man, those first couple of weekends, because that first weekend was bad, and then they put us downtown. My first night was like 7 arrests, multiple uses of force. It was nuts.
Oh yeah,
that's a good time.
It was a lot of fun. Well, because I always said it, if I could deploy to Seattle with Idaho laws and backing and regulations, do you know how much fun that would be?
Yeah. Let me add one caveat. No paper.
Yeah, that's true.
Just let me do this, and then someone else can tag along and take the paper, because I don't want to do all that paperwork. But I'm down for the hooks and the use of force.
Do you imagine, dude, how much that's going to change in the future? Like, there's going to be like an AI earbud in your radio, and it's probably
like those wearable, most of your reports. Yeah, those wearable AI things. Dude. Like it'll just audio and visually record everything, and you won't even have to write a report.
And it'll dictate, which would be pretty freaking cool.
It's got your like heart rate on it, and like all. It'd be wild.
I don't know if I want to see that.
Right.
Mine's never above 60, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mine is slightly above that with frequency. So I could better relate to my clientele on patrol, man. We're all tweakers, just different drugs, bro.
So Brent, but you were in corrections in California?
Correct.
Okay, where what'd you do?
So I started there in 2005. I started
in the
at Salinas Valley State Prison is where I started at. I went to transfer up to DVI. That's where I was closer to home, Central Valley.
Okay.
Then the good old governor of California decided to start shutting things down and ending people's careers. So I had to take off and went up to Pelican Bay for about a year and found out that I had plenty of seniority to come back. So I transferred back down to DVI. And then I ultimately ended up at Sierra Conservation up in the little foothills, little retirement community. Pretty sweet.
What city's near that? Was near that?
The biggest city there is Sonora.
Okay.
So about 40. The prison's about 45 minutes or so outside of town.
Okay. You were all over the state.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Dang. Pelican Bay is in Eureka? No.
Yeah.
Is it that far north?
Yeah, it's all the way on the Oregon border.
It's right up there, right?
Yeah. All the way on the Oregon border.
That's so when I started CHP, I was in Humboldt County.
Yep.
Near there. Interesting place to work.
Yeah.
Just like weather. It was hard to live there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody in the town. So I lived down in Fortuna, which is just south of Eureka. And everybody in the town was related to the marijuana industry. So it was very hard to have any friends at all. And I was the youngest officer in the office. Everybody was old. So I was like, it was horribly lonely. We had a brand new baby and my wife did not know anybody. It was just 2 years of challenge.
Right. Yeah, you can smell when you come in this town and you can smell when you get out of it.
Dude.
But yeah, the prison's up in Crescent City.
Crescent City. Yeah. Yep.
So what made you move to Idaho?
I hate California, first of all.
Checks out. All right.
I left that stuff behind. But no, when the final straw is I got family up here, been up here for years, and my dad actually got real sick and was bad on cancer, and that was the final straw. Finally got the wife to agree to move and get out of that mess over there.
Yeah.
Get the kids out of there, and so worked out good.
Good.
On that side of it. So we've been up here, and fortunately my dad's still with us. They actually gave him 2 weeks to live when I first moved up here, and
Wow.
and he's still healthy and with us right now.
That's
so
cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
pretty fortunate.
Yeah, definitely.
So then you got corrections, got into corrections with Kootenai County.
Yeah,
Did a couple years there.
Yeah, I came straight from California. Pretty much walked in the door there and stayed there. I think about 3 years roughly.
Yeah, you probably had a lot more experience than most, especially coming
All
from,
of them.
Especially coming from some of those prisons, dude. You're dealing with
Yeah, all of them. And I was, I was promoted. I was actually when I was in California, I was a correctional counselor 1, which is essentially a lieutenant status, but civilian clothes, a lot of paperwork. Not dealing with the inmates too much anymore, which is kind of nice.
Yep.
And then I did some correctional counselor 2 work right before I left, which is captain status. And I was in the process of getting promoted, but we had to get up here for my dad. So I came up here and was back down at the bottom of the totem pole.
That's right. Got to work your way up.
So it was kind of nice for a minute, but
Were you there when Brett Nelson was? Did Brett Nelson start in the jail?
Yeah,
When he
I
came
was
up
there.
here?
I was there when he started.
Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. He went patrol shortly after that.
Yeah.
And then he rocket shipped up.
Now
to-
he's the undersheriff. Yeah.
Skipped 8 or 9 ranks.
No big deal.
Brett's a stud. What was one of the biggest differences you noticed from coming from California Corrections to Kootenai County?
Oh, it's kind of weird. You'd think it'd be a totally different world, but it's really not. This is a smaller community, but it's not that small anymore. So being in the jails up here, there's a lot of inmates that recognize me from California.
No way.
I mean, obviously, it's I'm not I don't fit in very well with most folks, and then my last name, I got a very unique last name as well. So I had numerous inmates from California recognize me.
Oh, that's fun.
So in all reality, it's not that much of a difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's politics are the same for
Right.
the most part. You got the same gangbangers here as you do over there, and
yeah.
the same old.
Yeah.
So what ultimately got you out of working in corrections then?
Well, I worked for myself before I got into law enforcement, and I didn't want to work for anybody anymore.
Yeah.
So I found a way to get out, and was able to get out, and got a new job and worked for a couple folks, and that again solidified me not wanting to work for people. And so I was looking for bars and stuff all over the place. It's something I always kind of wanted to do. I bounced a lot when I was younger.
I would have guessed that.
Yeah, so I did a lot of that back in the day, and
Not much different than corrections, really.
I know, and I love talking to people and having a good time. So
Yeah.
it's a great job for me. So being at the bunker bar, my wife and I going in there quite often, we was able to sit there and having a cocktail. Numerous times I've told her, said, man, if I ever owned a bar, this would be the one. I said, it's never going to be for sale though. So I was looking elsewhere, and lo and behold, right place, right time, and I got offered the bunker bar. So here we are.
They knew that you were kind of interested and just approached you with it?
Yeah, we were asking them questions about how they were so successful and stuff with that, and they were going on to their next chapter of their life with their restaurants and stuff. So
yeah,
they wanted to have some more kids or whatever, and they offered it up to me. They wanted to have another first responder type of person that didn't want to change the mentality, and
perfect.
I think I fit that bill on that side of it.
Yeah,
so we're just trying to keep the integrity that they built and just trying to expand on it. That's all I'm kind of trying to do.
When did you buy it?
We bought it. I've had it for almost 2 years.
Oh,
now.
cool.
Yeah. June 24th will be 2 years.
So for those that don't know, what is the Bunker Bar?
The Bunker Bar is the best bar in Idaho.
All right.
At least North Idaho. And we actually just did get voted the best bar.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we do have that for North Idaho.
Nice.
But we are veteran, first responder, military friendly, and probably one of the only ones up here that actively embrace that and publicize it.
Yeah, that is part of the culture there, the brand, the image, it's all that. Like when you go in there, you're like, okay,
oh yeah,
this feels good.
Yeah, I got my grandfather's flags dead center on top of the bar, from when he passed, and we got a big patch wall and all the stuff as well. So we love to do that, and got the burger truck out front.
Burgers are phenomenal.
Burgers are really good.
We're known for some burgers, and actually we got tacos and all kinds of stuff out there now. We're doing breakfast, 7 a.m. Trucks open every single day.
No kidding.
Really?
Yeah, bars open at 7 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. You want to come in and check it out?
There's a lot of people out there that I think have this fantasy about owning their own bar. How many hours a week do you put in?
You probably don't want to know that. You're never not working.
We're probably similar in that regard, but yeah, I was going to say, because there's not really days off.
No, there's not days off.
The entrepreneurial world, right? We all came from the same background, and we're all entrepreneurs now. The trade-off is there's no ceiling, and you're not answering to anybody. I mean, sort of. We have wives, of course, but it's worth it to me. Like, it's terrifying in a lot of ways, and we get people reaching out to us all the time. This is why I'm talking about this. That ask, they're in the first responder world. Maybe they're done and they just want to get out. Like, how did you do it? What are the steps? And I tell them, like, it's terrifying. You really, there's no safety net. You're on your own, but there's no limit, man, and that's the beauty of it. So yeah, we work a lot more hours than we used to, but it doesn't even faze me. I actually like coming to work now.
I don't think the hours are that different.
I was going to say, I'm the same way.
Maybe.
Yeah.
16, 17, 18-hour days.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Kootenai. I mean, it was Mando overtime. You guys guys were always short-staffed, but I worked a lot. I mean, my call-outs, and for a while I was doing that and this, and for me it wasn't that scary. I got recruited, bro. You guys
true.
were, yeah.
True. You did get recruited. Well, but I worked a lot of hours as a cop, but it was voluntary overtime. You know what I mean? I did to myself.
Yep, I agree.
Looking back, I don't know if that was the right call, but
I always like to talk when you're like just getting started, because I do think there is that fantasy out there where it's like, I'm going to own a bar. It's just going to be like a party. It's going to be like, it's going to be fun. And I'm sure it is a ton of fun too, but man, there's a lot of hours because the buck stops with you.
There is a lot of hours. There's a lot of drama, but at the end of the day, it's for me, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I like to talk to people and have fun. So, you are right. Stepping out on your own, it is scary.
Yeah, there's no guaranteed paycheck.
There's nothing guaranteed other than paying taxes.
No health insurance. Yeah, you're paying taxes. That is guaranteed. You're going to be paying a lot of taxes.
Does it help because you have a first responder background? Do you get along well with Post Falls PD? Good interactions with those guys?
Oh yeah, I love those guys. We do the last few Christmases that we've owned the bar, we go down there and serve them a hot meal for both their shifts. My wife, last year she spent 2 days making meals for those guys, and we take them down hot, for both shifts. So yeah, we get along with them great. It's something I take pride in. Fire department, they come in and stuff all the time, and yeah, we want those guys in. We want them in uniform and not uniform. Come on in. It's what it's about.
You guys do a lot for the community. I keep hearing, but so I'm glad you're on the podcast, because I feel like we probably could have some synergy in what we do as well. And I keep hearing about stuff you guys are doing for the community, and it's like, yeah, that's freaking rad.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I bought the bar. I do love to give back, and it's making it where I can, right? It's a lot more. It's easier for me, you know. We do the big parking lot parties that we do in the summertime. Last year we did 4. I think we're going to tone that down a little bit this year. We have a couple of different ideas that we're contemplating right now. But yeah, we do every one of our parties that we do has some type of a charity attached to it. New Beginnings.
Yeah.
Red and Blue Foundation is another big one of ours. We do the food banks. Pretty much anything to do with anything that's local community, kids, law enforcement, first responders, stuff like that. You know, American Legions is another one. We're doing a big arm wrestling tournament up here now. We just started it last year.
Cool.
So we're doing it again this year on April 8th, and that's another. Sorry, not April, August 8th.
How about Doug's in there?
He came last year, but he was in uniform, so I don't know if he's gonna participate this year or not.
An animal.
Yeah.
Should we get Big John in there? Is Big John? He's got the leverage.
That's true.
We get him trained up.
John and Austin would both be.
Austin's a gorilla too. Yeah,
that would be pretty entertaining.
Put a back in there.
My brother, he's very famous in that world for arm wrestling. He was ranked very high for many years, so he'll be up here, and he's got a super match with a guy from Montana. So yeah,
I would actually enjoy coming to watch that.
That would be.
I'm not into the sports, but I'm into that.
Yeah,
that's freaking cool.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
What you've mentioned a couple times that you like talking to people. For guys and gals out there that are in that world, because we get this all the time, like, oh, I'm just a cop, I don't have any skills. Like, what can I do after I get out of copping? What do you think the main skills are that you took from that career that you have been able to translate into owning your own business?
For me, it's being able to talk to people. You know, being in the prison world and the jail world, it's all about communication. You know, being able to have those good conversations and not be scared to talk to people. You know, learn what you're good at, learn what you love. You know, I guess that's like most people say. You don't want to feel like you're at work.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I'm at now. I put in a lot of hours. Even if I'm at home, I'm on my computer or getting phone calls, text messages, whatever that looks like. But I don't mind it. My wife, on the other hand, she don't care for it much. But I love it. So. That's why I'm thinking about trying to expand a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. See where it takes us.
Yeah, I think it's rapport building and problem solving.
Yeah,
you know, because in those worlds, you know, in law enforcement, that's a lot of what you do. Sometimes building rapport with people you don't have a lot in common with, and in a lot of cases, some people you don't even really want to be building rapport with, but it's a requirement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So being able to put some of that aside and reduce the RBF enough to build some rapport and then problem solve. I mean, business owner, it is a constant, we call it slaying dragons around here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm convinced if there's not a dragon to slay, we'll create one.
Yeah, 100%.
Just to keep our problem-solving skills tight. But I do think that's a big part of it when people are coming from that world. It's just a matter of recognizing the transferable skills from that profession. And it's not the ones you think. Everybody thinks cops, it's like gunfighting or ground control or some of that stuff. Those aren't the skills you're cultivating when you're a cop. Those are great skills to have, right? For that one, for those moments. But those are infrequent. What are the real skills you're cultivating?
Hey, maybe you want to get out of copping and be a cage fighter.
Yeah,
work out good.
Maybe. Yeah,
you're speaking Seth's language.
Yeah,
now.
you are. You're right though. You know, yeah, it's cool to be good at that stuff, but that doesn't necessarily translate to a career after.
Right.
You know, yeah, you can go teach other people to do it. That is a viable option, but the real skills I think are talking. Communicating.
Yeah.
If you can talk dope out of somebody's pocket, or in your case, out of their butthole, I mean, then you can pretty much do anything, right? Sorry,
that's not fair. He was able to get him to squat and cough. I wasn't allowed to do that on the street. Roadside, they would have frowned upon that. Right. That wasn't a thing.
Oh, to see the things your eyes have seen, my friend.
Oh, we did. My brother-in-law was on a ride along, and there was. You would know the kid if I mentioned him too. He hid needles betwixt his butt cheeks.
Oh,
and
it's a risky move, dude.
Made him twerk them out of betwixt his butt cheeks roadside, and they like just fell down onto the street. It was my brother-in-law's there. He's like, "This is amazing. I get it now.
This is what you do."
He's like, "I understand. This is." The guys that were there are going to hear this and laugh. They know exactly what I'm talking about.
Now you go into the prison and jail world, you call them Pez dispensers.
Oh my gosh,
the old human pocket. Yeah. There's
a lot of people listening right now that can fully relate to that.
Yes. Oh my God, I shouldn't even say that, but I'm going to say it.
Say it.
It's our podcast. I can say what I want. But it's always funny when I heard stories from the jail where it was like the whole pod is high, like the whole thing, because somebody got it through, right? And like the scanner's great, but not perfect. And you get that through, and even then, what do you do with them? Like, do you just put them in a dry cell for like 3 days? What happens? But anyways, so one of the girls in there had snuck a whole bunch of pills, and everybody in there was high. And you know where that was concealed and for how long. So I just picture like these little freaking like duckling tweaklets, like just following her around, just like, just
out of the Pez dispenser.
Yes, just out of the Pez dispenser. Yeah, it's fascinating introspective into humankind.
Right.
The jail, dude, you just see it. Like, you see humans raw. Like, that's...
Oh, it's amazing the stuff that you see in that world. It is another world. There is no doubt about it. People don't understand what that world's like.
Yes. Yeah, you see them. And I imagine at your bar, a lot of these stories are talked about freely, which is nice. It's nice to have a place you can go have these conversations without...
You need that.
Yes.
Like Dave talks about all the time. Like, his therapy is riding in the truck with one of us and just bullshitting for an hour, because that's your time. You're like, all right, I can tell he's seen the same shit I've seen. I can tell him anything, things I wouldn't tell my spouse or someone not from that world. That is the ultimate therapy. Just to sit down, especially with some whiskey, that'll do it.
Well, just like what I said right there, I'm going to be messed up for saying this, right? But it's nice when you're around a collective group of people, and if you have a veterans first responders bar, I imagine a lot of your regulars are vets, and they go in and link up with each other and talk shit and tell stories.
Oh yeah, we got a group comes in every Tuesday, a veterans group, every single Tuesday.
Is that the Patriot Pour, the Veterans Club?
Yeah.
So we helped start that in Coeur d'Alene, and then it's so cool because Ed has been branching that out. Ed's great at that. So yeah, we're very familiar with that group on the Coeur d'Alene side, but great group of people.
Yeah, they're awesome.
The experience in that room is incredible. I mean, you got guys that were flying with the Night Stalkers, you got Green Berets, you got SEALs, you got Vietnam vets, like wild experience.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's humbling. Those guys, they had me come in and speak, and they know me, and they just wind me up, and I'll talk for 40 minutes. But because I was a submariner, so they're like, oh, we just want to know all about submarines. And these guys are telling some of theirs, like, no, dude, like, you're way cooler. Like, what you did is way cooler than what I did.
Yeah, you want to be humbled. You go in there and listen to some stories. You're like, wow, I didn't actually do shit.
Yes, exactly. I'm not near as cool as I thought before I walked in here.
Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm down here at this VFW down here and working with those guys. And now it's a whole new group of guys I'm getting to meet and hear their stories. And man, it's pretty neat. These guys that are back in the military in the 50s and 60s, and the stuff that they went through it's awesome.
Yeah,
the stuff that they had, the stories that they've told me so far, it's neat what they're doing and what they went through.
Yeah,
we got guys that were dropping bombs out of B-52s in Vietnam, and like hearing that, but then the emotional side of like knowing what was on the receiving end of that,
right?
Like, well, it's crazy.
How many
really
lives?
Gives you perspective. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks to people like us and teams like us, you're never going to have a shortage of new veterans to talk to.
Yeah, that is. We are responsible for a lot of that. Most of the people that call us from on the real estate side listen to us here, and are relatable, and they're coming up here in droves, which is great. We get some pushback like, oh, stop talking about North Idaho. I'm like, well, the secret's been out for 50 years. Like, it's nothing new. It's important that we attract the right people up here now that share the same values as us, and that will allow us to keep this place amazing, I think. And people that want to invest in the community, which is folks with similar backgrounds for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We want the right ones up here,
not the left ones. I don't know.
The right, you're right and left. It's only fair that you characterize it that way.
Wrong ones? I don't know.
No, but I am glad you're on the podcast for that reason, man. We have like an awesome network of local businesses, and yours should be one of those places. Like, leave us a few complimentary drink tickets, and anybody that comes to town, just go in there once. Oh yeah. Because honestly, that's very North Idaho. Like, your place wouldn't be successful in Portland. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
Like, it's a different vibe. Like, there would be considerable issues with that, and I don't think people would feel as safe. Like, for a lot of those guys, because I'm big on mental health for first responders, I'm big on that. And for like,
as am I.
That's important. But in a lot of ways, your type of venue assists that. It's not a replacement for treatment, right? But it certainly is a help, especially when you can get a good group of people and talk about some stuff.
Yeah, it happens quite frequently, and it may not be me talking to them, but I hear other folks meeting up together and talking about things, so it's pretty cool to watch and see.
Yeah.
So it is awesome, and yeah, I'd love to have people come in and check us out, and
Yeah.
you guys come on in, we'll take care of you.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been in there a couple times, but yeah, need to make it more frequent. I'm going to leave this podcast, tell my wife I need to go drink more beer at the Bunker Bar. Okay, it was decided that needs to happen.
I agree.
But it's a cool network connection. I know you do a lot with the Red and Blue Foundation, but you can kind of catch some guys when they're in that spot. And there's a good network of support out here. I think Idaho, it's a little bit underappreciated.
Yeah.
But there's a network of support out here that helps a lot.
That is part of, going to a bar. For a lot of people, they're trying to drink their stuff away, and you can see that.
Yeah.
And we've actually had, I won't say any names, but we had a guy when I bought the bar he didn't really talk too much, but he was there almost every day, sitting at the bar by himself and having himself, however many cocktails. And now he's still there every single day and very active. He knows all of us, comes in and talks to us, and it's totally different world for him. It's awesome to see.
Clearly he needs that. That's his community right there.
Yeah, 100%.
He's found that connection. That might be the thing keeping him alive.
And it was actually, I was going to say, that's what he even told us. He goes, this place has saved my life, because he goes, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
But now the connections and stuff that he's made it's been awesome.
So that's the cool part of that owning a business like that. And again, you're creating a brand and a community, man. It's not just about slinging drinks. Of course, that pays the bills. We talk about that with real estate all the time.
Yeah.
Of course, look, real estate pays our bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for us, it's all about developing and helping people, especially people moving here, become a part of the community. Link up and network and get with some other like-minded people, and getting into Bunker Bar and meeting other people here. And it sounds like cheesy, but your house is where you lay your head at night. Your community is where you live.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
You got to get out in that network and kind of get a feel.
That was a good Ericism. I got to put that on the list.
Yeah. You always write those down.
I do.
Shirt
write
ideas.
it down a lot. Yeah. T-shirt idea.
I know.
What other what other stuff do you guys do there where people can come connect? I mean, do you have other events during the week or during the month? Because we have a lot of folks moving up here, and they're like, hey, I want to get involved. How do I go meet people? And I usually tell them to go to coffee shops or go jiu-jitsu, but that doesn't work for everybody, neither of those. Yeah,
no, we do. Every Tuesday we have live music. Every Wednesday we have trivia.
Have you done conspiracy theory trivia yet?
No, that's a good idea, though.
You got to do it. I've been wanting to do that. It'd be super fun.
We'll give Mark credit on that one. That is a dude, when he comes up, you guys would have a lot of fun. Like I said, he's got a cool bar. It's a very similar vibe down there, and I know we talked about it before the podcast, but his is set up like old-timey bar where our forefathers made decisions, and he doesn't care what they put on their social media. But conspiracy theory trivia, and that would be...
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, for North Idaho, oh, man.
That's the Old State Saloon down in Eagle. Mark Fitzpatrick, who's running for governor of Idaho, and you should vote for him.
He's former LE too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a great podcast. But yeah, stuff like that, dude, is fun. Because I probably wouldn't go out to a trivia night personally. Dave would. He's a nerd like that.
That's true.
But especially if it's geography
or planes.
Yeah. Oh, planes.
Planes. He would.
But hard. Conspiracy stuff. That's a fun time right there.
I feel like it's conspiracy theory trivia every time we talk to John and Austin. Has he tried to convince you the Earth is flat yet?
Not yet.
At this point, I'm convinced that he's just rage baiting me, bro.
He is.
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
I think he's just raging.
Either that or he's retarded, legitimately retarded. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, it's only as far as you can see, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
like, bro,
his arguments.
It's on a submarine. It's over the horizon. It's called that. I've seen it. God. Anyways.
Seen it? You never fell off the edge then?
No. I did not. We were underwater though, so maybe that's a thing. I'm under the plate, so
maybe you didn't go far enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably. I don't know if there's a wall. I don't know how it works.
Yeah,
ice wall.
Some flat earther explain this to us out there, please. Somebody give it to us.
What? So you got the food truck there, which I already said, Killer Burgers. We're there a lot. Trust me, it's good. It's like our go-to quick meal. You know what I mean? It's like right there. What else are you guys doing on the food side? We were talking about that a bit before the podcast. You're doing dinners once a month?
Yeah, so we just started doing this. I think we had our first one in February, and we'll stop them for the summertime, but we'll bring it back towards the end of the year. We're doing 40-person dinners where we shut the bar down for a couple hours, $100 a ticket, and we're doing some high-end meals, fully 5-course plated dinners and have some type of either tequila or whiskey, wine, something paired with them. And it's something different all the time, something trying to do stuff that's unique out of the box. And
you got tickets left for the next one?
Yeah, I think I got about 10 to 12 tickets left.
I think we should all go.
I think we should all go.
With the owners.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
It's on the 14th. We do it on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
But we're done about 8:30, so people can still get up and go to work the next day.
Yeah.
But we try to do a lot of stuff like that throughout the year, just to get people out of their house, especially when it's snowing and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's no fun sitting in your house, so we try to always come up with something to get people out and enjoy it.
That's a creative idea. So you guys have a full kitchen in the back there?
No, our chef, he does everything out of that food truck. It's quite amazing. No way. Yeah, it's quite amazing.
That's freaking rad.
It's impressive.
That is one thing with North Idaho that everybody, because the big question is, hey, what restaurants are good? And I love that a lot of it is like locally owned and operated mom and pop places. Every time I send somebody somewhere, that's what I like to do. It's either Embers, and I know it's a competitor, but Sawmill Grill's pretty good too.
Yeah, that's a go-to for us.
That's a cool spot. Or Daft Badger.
Yeah.
Trails End. Some of those are pretty cool spots.
Well, you're like right by a really good. I mean, a good lineup. You got Oval Office, White House.
I'm right in the middle of both of them.
Republic Tap House, which is on the other side. I love that place too. Yeah. So there's like a lot of good food right there.
Yeah. See, that's the one thing that I always say is it's no competition, right? Yeah. The only time that you compete in that world is if you're fighting with one another. And all of us owners, we get along real well. And we're actually starting a new group. It's called Spokane Street Shenanigans, right? That we're actually just getting ready to launch and have some fun with. And it's, cool. The Post Falls Brewery all the way up to the golf course. Yep. All of us that are on Spokane Street, they're all getting involved in that and putting different events out and having some fun. So look forward to that when it starts coming out. So
Post Falls Brewing is a good spot too.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah.
That would be cool if it's like they... people hit it and it's almost like a token at each one and you get something at the end or whatever that would be, just to check out local spots, people that are in town visiting, where you go into each one and you get something from, I don't know.
And that's kind of the stuff that we're trying to come up with to have some fun with it. And I say is getting different events and letting everybody know about it, right? The Chamber of Commerce is getting on board with it, and which is pretty cool, so they can help us promote it and just keep building Post Falls up.
Post Falls is the next spot in North Idaho, and especially that downtown strip. We had Randy Westland, the mayor of Post Falls, on the podcast a while back, and his vision for that whole strip is, to rival downtown Coeur d'Alene, and I love it.
I think it's going to surpass it personally, and it's again some of the laws that we have that Coeur d'Alene don't have, or Coeur d'Alene has that we don't, I should say. It's a lot more fun in Post Falls, as you can walk down the street drinking a beer. Mm-hmm. You can't do that here in Coeur d'Alene.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there's no open container law, so you can take off and go have fun.
It's good living in the Wild West. It's
right.
Good.
Yeah. But I really do see that, and I could see that expansion. So it's cool that the business owners are all together, and that was on my list of questions. How competitive is it between bars? But you have your own niche, and other bars have their niche. And, you'll have regulars, of course, but I think there's room enough, especially with a growing population, for everybody to eat. Right?
100%.
Where there's business all over the place, and you can just kind of go market your own style and your own brand and be successful.
Yeah, 100%. I said I send people all over the place. They ask me, "Hey, where's another good bar? Where's another good place to eat?" Yeah. I don't mind telling them because they say the same thing for us.
Yeah,
so again, unless you're fighting with one another, it's really not a competition in my eyes. Yeah. That's why I've always thought about that.
I don't see the same clientele at the Bunker Bar that I would at like Bob's 21. I don't see those as direct competition.
Exactly, right? That's totally different clientele.
Right.
But I do have some other guys that come in too every once in a while.
Cool.
But it's pretty cool to watch it and see what we're coming up with. So hopefully we'll have some more events coming up here and for all of us, and get that Spokane Street really.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Spokane Street does in the next year or two, because I think that area is going to get. I don't want to say he, but I think the vision for Post Falls is to drive businesses there, because businesses are kind of where that starts.
Right. And selfishly, I live very close to there, so that's my easier hub than going into downtown. And downtown, even though we work in downtown Coeur d'Alene, we're sitting here right now. Parking's kind of a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Post Falls is pretty easy.
You know what I think?
Yeah.
Pretty chill.
We don't have the big corporations either that are taking over the world.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully it stays that way. I know Randy's vision for new buildings going into that strip is, more restaurants, more things to do rather than dentist office, even though there's one there, but no offense to you guys, but it's not that fun.
Yeah, it's true.
And you got the river right there and Quemlin Park. So, you can walk across that bridge and access. You can walk to your place from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Dentist office could be fun, dude. They could be on that little strip, businesses
nitrous?
where it's like we're just going to give you a little bump of gas on your way by.
Stop by and get some nitrous.
Yeah,
baby.
just hit some nitrous on your way out, dude. Go party and have some fun. I'm just kidding, kids. No kids listen to this.
No, they do. They do. How do you feel about the growth? Like people moving here. What are your thoughts on it? You came here from somewhere else.
I think it's got its pros and cons, right? We get to, like I said, like we were talking about earlier, if we can attract the right people, and it doesn't matter where you come from, whatever part of the country, leave your stuff behind. You're leaving for a reason.
Yeah.
Leave it there. Come and embrace what we have here, and I think it'll be fine. I think the growth is good to an extent. It kind of sucks watching the prairie go away.
Yeah.
That's been kind of unfortunate to see go. It's nice to see some of these guys that are holding on to their property and not giving in, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. But no, I think the growth is good. And again, it's good for businesses and having us all stay successful and being able to try to expand and create more fun and more things for people to do. I think it'd be right. So
I agree with you. There's no one ringing the bell. I'm showing houses this morning, and one thing with Idaho is people aren't just coming here. I mean, a lot of what gets advertised is you've got 14 lakes, 20 miles of navigable rivers. You've got more state land available per capita than any other state in the country. We have the highest percentage of available state land. That's what gets advertised. But why are people really coming here?
To get out of their BS.
Yeah, freedom, right? You're talking about education freedom, economic freedom, minimal government intrusion, like-minded people. You can wear what you want. You can wear a pro-cop shirt here.
Right.
And honestly, you could wear a white dudes for Kamala shirt too. And you might get like a little jeer downtown occasionally, but guess what?
No one's going to key your car for it though.
Absolutely not. So that is a bigger draw here. So even when like real estate nationally tends to steer down, we're still going up. And I just don't know. You're not going to unring that bell. I mean, people are going to, as that becomes more paramount, because you said before that can kind of steer away from politics a little bit. But man, that's a huge, that when it starts impacting your day-to-day life.
Sure.
That's where politics isn't like the topic you leave off the dinner table.
Right.
It inserts itself into your daily life, and that's what people are running into. When you can't trust what your kids are what they're taking in at school. That's a pretty motivating factor for people to come here.
Yeah, the other cool thing you can do up here is you can go to a place like the Bunker Bar, go get a beer, and buy a raffle ticket for a rifle.
That is true.
And take it home the same day that you win it.
Yeah.
That seems better.
I'm sitting here looking at your stickers, right? And obviously we all know BZ.
Oh, yeah.
North Idaho Arms. And
yeah.
Him and I have partnered up, and I actually we're actually raffling off a rifle right now, him and I, at the bar, and it's all charity driven. So
yeah,
he's not keeping any money. I'm not keeping any money. I think that one's all going to New Beginnings.
Perfect.
So yeah, we're doing stuff like that again, just trying to get people out and have some fun.
See, that's what I mean. There are two business owners here, successful business owners, that are constantly thinking of ways of giving back to the community that they selected out of a whole bunch of other communities in the country. Because you come here and you appreciate it. Say, all right, how do we keep it this way, right? How do we give back? Because BZ does a ton of that too. And there's a lot of businesses that do, but he does a ton of that. It's appreciation for the community that you live in now. I'm sure there's a little bit of a business interest in that too, but at its core, it's about giving back to the community that you selected to move your family to, that you feel safer in now. Mm-hmm. You don't mind giving to that. Now I know ultimately it comes back to a lot of taxation and stuff like that. People would pay higher taxes if they lived in the safest community with the best roads, with the best education in the country.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't freaking work that way.
Nope.
It's the highest taxes are the worst. It's wild.
Right.
Why?
Right. Yeah. But I do like that in talking to Randy, it's interesting because it's a mixed bag. Growth it's happening no matter what. So how do you control the median house price? It's incredibly challenging because there's always going to be buyer pressure. But what you can do is try to control the way in which we grow, where it's not like apartment complexes, 15-story apartment complex. That's what bums me out when I see those, just because I know what comes with it.
And people will say, well, there's two arguments there. One is you need affordable housing for people that are in the service industry or whatever. Yes, but the downside to apartments is they're not necessarily invested, right? Like people, when they own their own home, they're taking pride in ownership. They should be taking care of the things. But oftentimes people living in these massive apartment complexes, it's like, well, why bother? So they don't have that tie to the community where it's, I'm sorry if I'm insulting anyone. I'm not trying to, but there's not that tie to the community. So you're not as, likely to get involved in politics, things like that. Because it is important. Like, we're not the most political people in the world by any means, but we have leaned into it because we understand that policies do matter. And if we just ignore it, things will start to slide, because there are always people actively trying to, for lack of a better word, infiltrate into our community and turn it into a vision that they have that is not our vision. And so we've leaned into it, which people called us crazy at first because we sell real estate. And if you ask anybody in, traditional real estate world, it's like, well, be apolitical. Don't say anything. You'll turn off a certain segment of society. And we're like, yeah, fuck it. We don't care. Yeah, right. So we've leaned into it fully, and it's actually helped our business quite a bit.
I was gonna say, especially here in this area.
100%.
Yeah. Would we get away with this in other parts of the country?
I don't know if we'd pull this off in Washington. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. It depends on the part.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of good people everywhere.
Got a
right?
lot of awesome clients listening that are all from Washington.
Yes, yeah. And we say this all the time. We don't care if you have an R or a D in front of your name or behind it, whatever. We care about your values and what you represent, and that is what a lot of society has forgotten. Or at least the media has wanted us to forget, that there's good people on both sides.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So proactive or preventative maintenance is always less expensive and less damaging than corrective maintenance. So get out in front of it and recognize it. But that starts a lot with entrepreneurs that are willing to give back to that community and focus on things that are actually benefiting the community, like new beginnings. That's huge for some of our vets that have fallen on hard times, and they are hugely supported here within our community, to the point that Therese is going to have to expand that thing. I know,
which is awesome to see.
Which is great. I love every bit. That is a good problem to have, but I know it's a lot to manage. So it's good to see. And Red and Blue Foundation, same thing, right? Hugely supported within our community. Absolutely. Yeah, J.W. Welch, all of those. I mean, if it's for veterans and first responders up here, unanimously people are in support of it. It's awesome. It's just a different mindset.
Yep. So what's next for you?
It's hard to say, man. I got a lot of things that my brain says I want to do, but it's what the pocketbook says I can do, and checks out. And what the community allows us to do, type of thing. So I don't know. Again, I'm actively looking at different ideas. Maybe another restaurant. Maybe bringing another burger bunker up. Maybe another bunker bar. It's all timing, right? Yep. So I'm not in a hurry. I've only owned the place for a couple of years now, so I'm not in that big a hurry. Mm-hmm. But I am looking, and if the right thing comes up, then we'll either jump on it or see what we can do, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not really in too much of a hurry, Yeah. But we are getting a lot of people asking us to especially for the burger bunker. Where they're wanting us to take that into different towns. Rathdrum, get a lot of people from Rathdrum, Hayden, all over the place. They're asking us to go. Yeah, but
Rathdrum is a city well suited for a bunker bar, just because it's throwback, throwback small town USA. Very blue collar. Yeah. Blue collar, lots of hardworking people up there. But the food truck industry out here is cool. When people ask about it, that's where I was going to go before. People ask about restaurants out here, tell them the food truck scene here is real. Like, there's
it's legit.
Some of the best food out here is out of a food truck. My favorite sushi place is out of a freaking food truck. All right, I didn't think that'd be the case, but it's legit.
Kind of weird to say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
My sushi's coming out of a food truck.
Yeah, but the first night I was like, oh, this could go a couple of different directions. We're gonna check this out, but I'm gambling. But it is freaking good. So I'll give Raw Dead Fish a shout out over there on Best and 7th. But yeah, they're good.
The startup of food truck courts is so cool too. And they're all over the place now because you can take the family there and the kids can get whatever the heck they want. Yeah, it's freaking beautiful.
Yeah, you're not stuck to one thing. Absolutely.
Right.
Well, and it's really great because we have a lot of construction and like blue collar workers out here. So those guys will pull up in one truck, same thing, boom. Everybody can kind of go out and do their thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of why, hiring the chef that we have, he's expanded our menu so much just for that reason, because there's not a whole bunch down there,
Yeah.
So now it's not just burgers. We have wings and we have tacos and doing the full breakfast. So trying to get a little bit more involved in that kind of stuff too. And it's been great. A lot of people are really talking about it now and telling us how good the breakfast is and that kind of stuff. And we're really trying to get that side of our business going right now. So, and then actually I started PNW Catering this January as well. So, we've done some pretty cool events. We've made some pretty fantastic food for people. And it's, it's one of those things that if you dream it, he can probably make it.
That's cool.
Our chef is he's pretty amazing at what he does.
Yeah.
And the things that he can come up with, pretty awesome to see. As the staff the staff that I have, I get compliments all the time, right? 'Cause it's all how well that they interact with the community that comes in. And it's cool to see. You don't go to a lot of places that actually welcome you in and tell you bye. They open the door for you.
Right.
Especially a lot of our regulars that come in all the time. It's fun to watch them interact with those guys, man. It's a totally different experience than what most bars offer you, So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Veterans Bar, I'm sure there's a healthy amount of trash talking.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. How many employees do you guys have?
I have normally about 18.
Oh wow.
Yeah, between the truck and the bar. Yeah.
Cool. Back to lieutenant status, dude.
Yeah, right.
Managing people. It's all the same.
Span of control.
It's all the same.
Right.
They're probably a lot easier to manage than cops, though, huh?
Cops go a little rogue most of the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've all been there.
I'm super easy to manage.
Yeah.
I'm super easy. Simple. How's parking down there? Because I always thought with your guys' spot that can be a challenge.
So parking is one of our biggest issues, but again, it's a lot of that everywhere up here, because businesses are on top of they're on top of each other, for the most part. But again, it goes back to the guys over at Oval Office and the White House. None of us, even Canola, right? None of us care who parks where. Mm-hmm. So they've got 4 different parking lots right there that nobody cares about, right? Nobody's arguing about how you can't have your people park here. So so it's been not too bad. And we are fortunate enough between the 4 of us there that people will walk.
Yeah.
They don't mind walking down the street, a little ways to come and hang out and enjoy it. So hasn't been too much of an issue for us.
Yeah.
We have those big parking lot parties and we have 400, 500, 600 people there.
That's awesome.
And they walk a mile.
They figure it out, yeah.
And then they come and have a good time.
Yeah.
How's the late night scene there? Is it like a friendly crowd, or do you have any issues ever with?
Yeah, no, we're
rowdy?
friendly. No, that's we're actually known for that too. Very, very friendly for women to come in, even if they're by themselves. They don't have to worry, right? It's very safe for women there.
Do you do all your own bouncing?
Most of the time, if I'm there, not too much stuff happens normally, But again, we close at midnight, right?
Oh, okay, cool.
So we do that strategically, and it was. The previous owners actually started it, and I kept it, and it made sense, right? Because the people that are getting kicked out for being shitheads at other places, are we don't want them, right? We don't want them for that night. Mm-hmm. Come in any other time, but we don't want the riffraff, right? We don't want the drama. It's drama free for the most part. So yeah, we don't. I said 2 years. I've not really had too many problems there. It's been pretty awesome. Yeah. And we're not getting the fights and not getting a bunch of the drugs and people getting roofied and all that kind of stuff. It's just not wanted, and everybody knows about it.
Well, it's good. That's the reputation you establish. Again, preventative maintenance. It's easier than trying to go in and fix a place, right? If you already have that established, it's not going to be tolerated there, and it's not that type of bar. It's a lot easier, right?
100%.
You don't have to go back and change it, and I always wondered. And we brought that place up, Mix downtown, that used to be there, but that was open till it was by far the latest, so everybody went there late in the night, and it was a mess.
Oh yeah.
What's the legal closing time in Idaho?
2.
Is it 2?
It's 2.
Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. In California, it was 2:00. I was a bouncer too for a long time, but in New York, where I grew up, it was 4 a.m., which ain't nothing good going on at 3 or 4 in the morning.
Right.
No.
Just asking for problems.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it sounds to me like the bouncing part is something that you rather enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes down to that communication, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I bet you don't even have to put hands on people 99% of the time. Just talk them right out of the bar. That's what I usually did.
Just go stand over there next to him.
Oh, yeah, he probably
just
does
give him
that
that
too.
look.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll
Never
chill
mind.
out. I'll chill out.
A little different in my younger years.
Sure.
A little more hot-headed, you know. It was a little funner. Could recover a lot easier.
That was the early 2000s bouncing, dude. That was like the time.
Yeah.
That's why I was in Chico. You know, Chico up north.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was a bouncer up there, and it was, but it was cool. Nobody at that time. There was no guns, no knives. It was just people.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in the late 90s, early 2000s when I was bouncing, and it was. You go to some of them places, man. It was rough, but fun.
Yeah,
Really?
Boy, the stuff you could get away
Really
with.
yeah. And no reports.
Yeah.
No
like-
freaking paperwork,
Yeah,
dude.
see, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And the cops are like, all right, thanks. Or if they did get called, they're like, all right,
Oh,
good
we
job.
had great rapport with the cops where I worked, and they'd show up. There's never any questions asked. Like, this guy fell down clearly.
Tripped. Yeah.
He's really drunk. You should take him to jail.
That's awesome.
Good times. Well, man, appreciate you coming on. I'm going to talk to our team about getting tickets to the dinner that you guys got coming up. See if we can come out, because I'd love to get in there more as us representing our business too, and boost your business. We have a tour of North Idaho that we send out to people, and it just has like restaurants and things like that on there. I was just checking, and I was like, you're not on there. I think because we were thinking restaurants and not bars, but you guys are a restaurant too. So I will make sure that gets added so that when people are up
appreciate
here
that.
visiting us, they will pop in to see you too.
Yeah, I've actually got a family in town. It's, mom and dad and then their kids, and they just had a grandbaby, but they're staying at VRBO in Post Falls because we got another buddy that's got two of them, and I always push clients there. And I'm going to send them over. They're going to be in town
appreciate
for the next
that.
couple
Question
nights.
on that note, is the bar open to people under 21 as well, or do they have to stay outside?
No, unfortunately, we are a bar because it's a food truck, so we are considered a bar, so it is 21 and over. But
Okay.
we do have a bunch of outside seating and the fire pits and all that kind of stuff. So we're coming up on that good time of year that people can enjoy the outside.
Yeah.
Yes, and people can get a drink inside and come sit out by the fire pit with the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have
Okay.
staff that go out there and serve you right outside. Absolutely.
That's good living.
Very cool. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not just trying to score for complimentary drink tickets, but if you had anything you'd want to bring by, maybe I am. I'm always hustling.
Eric can throw them down.
It's like, hey, bring me 30 of them, and I swear I'll give them to clients. No, but if you had something in here, that'd be cool. Because like I said, we hand out the tour of Idaho. I would love to get them on there.
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
Burgers are awesome, but something to give to them to send out. Because we do that with like Peak Fitness. Hey, go for a day. Tim Henry, we've talked about that. Somebody jumping into the CrossFit gym for a day. Just get a chance, because that's, man, when people come visit here, it's not about seeing houses, bro. Like, that's not what it's about.
Right.
Get out into the community and get a feel for what people are like. Go have some conversations with like people that have lived here for a while and people that just moved here, and entrepreneurs and business owners, and see what the real vibe of that community is.
Yeah, sure. This is another thing I just came up with the other day, and it's, I'm on here for all the veterans that are listening, first responders. I'm actually came up with a whole brand new shirt that is geared toward one for each branch of the military.
Yes.
Fire departments, police departments, that kind of stuff. So we're thinking about doing some pre-orders for that and see how that takes off. So keep an eye out for that on Facebook for us,
yeah.
because my daughter will be posting all that for us whenever we come out with that. So pretty cool shirts.
How gay is the Navy one going to be? I gotta listen. All right, I get it all the time.
It's like two submarines like bumping bows.
bumping bows.
Yeah, it's.
There's a shirt
I mean,
idea.
you're called seaman for for a
Yes,
reason, right?
and I'm a submariner, dude. I'm even worse. But that'd be cool.
Is that the best place for people to find out info about what you guys got coming up? Is on Facebook?
Yeah,
and
Facebook,
Instagram? You on
Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
And I think my daughter does a lot of the TikTok stuff. I'm not much into that social media.
You have the
stuff.
right one running that. It's
helpful to have teenagers.
Oh, yeah, my daughter, yeah.
Yes, having her do it is the way to go.
She does very well. Here, I'll actually show you there's the Marine one, but at least you guys can check that one out, at least kind of what they're going to look like.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Marines will love that. There's no crayons on there though.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
Yeah, that's freaking
I could
bad.
fix that.
That's gonna look good. Yeah, just put one crayon on the back, just subtle.
Put a box of crayons on the
Tuck it in.
front.
They would that would be
Actually, that would
it
probably
looks all
sell.
patriotic and awesome on the back, but the front it's crayon. That would be.
Crayola.
I know a lot. John would love that shirt.
Totally.
Yeah. You would love it.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, brother. I really appreciate you coming on, taking the time. It's good to get to know you. We finally got to meet. And we'll see what we can do, man.
Yeah,
Let's
thanks
build
for
some synergy.
Thanks for pointing out that you weren't on the tour because you need to be.
Yeah,
that business.
Yeah,
needs
no, I
to be.
appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me on,
you on
guys.
there.
It's been fun.
Yep.
Yep. Cheers,
Do it
brother.
again sometime. All right.
Appreciate you.
Later.